Alrighty. Hey guys, so I'm back. Just got home from watching the Space Jam trailer. Not trailer, the movie, sorry. I almost fell asleep on the way back home because I went to get some McDonald's. Shocker, I know. Sorry about the lighting, I'm not sure how to fix that. But it hides my ugliness anyways. So let's talk about Space Jam New Legacy. I did not hate it as people are hating it. I liked it. I did. Was it the 8.5 that I was least hoping for? No. And I kind of knew it. I knew it ever since LeBron back in 2011, 2012 when he said he was going to make a Space Jam 2. Since he was going to try to make a Space Jam 2. I knew that no matter what. No matter what he did, it was never going to live up to the original perfectly. Did it live up to the original per se? It did. It had its moments of nostalgia, funniness, and some good feel moments there. There were times though where not the comedy, or the jokes per se were forced, but they could have been saved for another time or moved a bit. Let's talk about LeBron. He actually did a very good job with acting, with how he interacted with the Looney Tunes, both when they were in a 2D form and 3D form. He interacted well. I felt like the issues, I kind of talked about this earlier, I knew that because this is going to be a long movie instead of like a scene per scene per scene, I knew at some point some of his acting was going to show, or the lack of was going to show. And I suspected there were some moments where, even during the Looney Tunes scenes, which were still funny, don't get me wrong, there were still signs where he, no matter how much, and he was trying, it wasn't there. Still did a fantastic job. I think if he could, and I know some people don't want it, but I feel like if he could try if he made a sequel, it would improve. Or if he started doing other movie roles or more minor roles where he will be there most, and then he'll go and then come back. But I think he did okay. I think he did well and lived up to what Michael could do. Obviously, by the way, no spoilers. I will do everything I can to not talk about any spoilers per se. Don Cheadle. Like I said, any movie he's in, good, bad, ugly, whatever, he's gonna be a star. He's gonna be great, and he was gonna be no doubt a highlight, and he was. I don't think there was any bad scene with him. I don't think so. If anything, I think his character was a little underdeveloped, only because I don't know. The way he interacts with LeBron, it's almost an obsession. A must-need obsession. But he was still perfect, You can't hate the man for that, Here's the ticket, by the way. I just found it. Did not do well in my pocket. But he was really a star. He's charismatic. He's a charismatic dude. And, if you've seen his roles in the MCU, as War Machine, Rhodey, you're gonna get something out of him. LeBron's family, and mostly his kids. It was, I knew the plot device was gonna be a bit of a buzzkill, but not too much per se. Or I don't know how I said it when I made my prediction video, but his son was his son. I felt like they kind of get. I mean, I get it. I thought his son had too much than he should have. I will say it was kind of cool though that they were because in the trailers they talked about how he didn't watch it. He actually showed his passion for his other project, and you actually you almost feel for him in a way. But that was just the point. They're saying that cool son does not want to do what the father wants to do. You're gonna get that. And I now realize I should have put on music. It's kind of boring. I'm in too deep now. And plus the audio is gonna suck anyway. So, oh well. But it just I knew that was just gonna be like the more lame parts. The Looney Tunes, there's actually nothing wrong with the Looney Tunes. I actually love the Looney Tunes. Every time when, because we all knew how LeBron was gonna have to go planet to planet in the server to go get the Looney Tunes. I was wondering how they would be in certain worlds, and it was hilarious. Some of them they just skipped and said like, okay, here they are, moving on. They didn't really bother per se. And that's not a spoiler because I'm not describing the scenes, but but I will say the way LeBron meets Bugs and finds Lola, Daffy, they're actually really funny, and I don't think there was ever a bad scene. Jokes maybe could the jokes be a little meh, maybe, but I think they were great. They were still. I was happy, every time they were on screen, every time there was a funny moment, every time they went loony, that big old smile, which thankfully again you can't see because I'm ugly. Here's the thing: if you can put yourself down if you have candy. So, that's my way. The music was great. But I don't think it will. I'm not talking about the orchestra. You hear in the background. I'm talking about like the ones that they hire the artist. I was curious how, because I listened to the soundtrack on iTunes. They were great. But I was wondering like how would I feel the music when in the actual scenes, and they were good. Don't get me wrong. They were great. They had their moments. They shine. But at the end of the day, I don't think they're gonna be as memorable from the first soundtrack. He Who Shall Not Be Mentioned with I Believe I Can Fly. What was that one song by Seal? I can't remember the song, but I do remember the scene where Michael Jordan, he's playing basketball, warming up, and all the Looney Tunes are just watching him, being amazed how he still got it. And of course, the Monstars anthem, the Goon Squad, this is not really a spoiler, but I can say this because it doesn't ruin the movie. They did not have their own theme song. They really didn't. I could go back on iTunes to double check to see if I'm wrong. But like I said, the music for the artists that they collaborated with they got on board, it's great. Don't get me wrong. It really is now better now that I saw it in action. But I don't think it'll be memorable. As memorable, I don't think in 10 years everyone's gonna be like, what's the theme song for Space Jam: New Legacy? And they're like, Overall, I'm trying to think what else should I talk about the movie. I think the reason why it's not doing well, and I'm not talking about on HBO or in the movie center. I'm just thinking like it's not connecting with anybody that love the original, or just people that just were curious about that love the Looney Tunes. I think it doesn't connect well, or people are saying it's not great, which I could see to some degree. It's because it has a plot from beginning to end. It's a plot. You can view it as messy, convoluted, or as you watch and you piece together like, oh, okay. The original Space Jam did not have a plot. The plot really, it was either simple or just really wasn't there. It's just Michael Jordan got kidnapped by the Looney Tunes because the aliens were gonna enslave them. That's as simple as it can get. Sometimes the plot doesn't age well, because when you watch it and you see there's a little bit more to the plot, you're like, didn't really age that well. With Space Jam, they made sure that it was a plot. LeBron was trying to be recruited by the AI. Don Cheadle. LeBron trying to deal with his son. Not to find him, because I will say this: LeBron does admire and is proud before and during and after the big basketball game, that he's proud of it, that his son wants to do that, but he just wants him to focus on the basketball. And then and instead of him being kidnapped, he accidentally goes to the Serververse and then ends up in the Looney Tunes world. I think that's what it's kind of convoluted. I think it's more complicated, and it's not well liked because the original Space Jam plot was at least simple. This one, it tried to make it simple and try to make it more dramatic, and it wasn't. It wasn't there. It was not perfectly executed per se. You know, the character developments between LeBron, the Looney Tunes, the main baddie, and his son. You know, it builds up, but it's not there. It's not connecting well. The way LeBron interacts with the villains, the Goon Squad, and the Looney Tunes during a big basketball game, it's fun. You know, you can tell he's having fun with it, but it's just not perfect the way it should have been. And at the end of the day, I would still recommend it, though. I would still recommend this movie to anybody that's curious about space, that never watched, or to anyone that has watched Space Jam, doesn't want to watch it, just so they can get it out of their system. Like, if it's bad, then, you know, they're going to say, yeah, I watched it once, don't need to see it ever again. I get introduced into people that like the Looney Tunes, old and new people, because, you know, Looney Tunes is on HBO Max. And they could be like, especially for the kids, you know, they could be like, oh, I like this. The kids in there, they liked it. I think that's all it really was. It was targeting a new generation. Because the animation for 2D and 3D was spectacular. It was a lot better than the trailers showed it off. It really did. So with that being said, with 11 minutes, awkward as hell, you can't barely see me. I'm pretty sure the audio's shit. And, you know, no music, which I kind of wish I knew how to do, or add it in the background later, post interview. What would I give Space Jam: A New Legacy? Personally, after everything, despite everything, I think it's still, and this is me just being generous, this is me just being nice, and this is because I really did enjoy the movie a good 85% of the time. Personally, I think it's an 8. It's just, but barely an 8. You know, it's not, yeah, solid 8, solid. No doubt if I watch it on HBO Max or I decide to go back to the movie theaters to watch it again, it might change. It might go down to a 7, 7.5, the most, but I could still say, you know what? If I get HBO Max before Space Jam: New Legacy is taken out for the Blu-ray release, I'll watch it. That'll be the first thing I'll watch. Then I'll watch the other shit they have there. I think I'll just only watch the Looney Tunes on there, but I don't want to see anything else on HBO Max that's worth it. Oh, so yeah, I think that's just for me. Everyone else is gonna say 6. Some people are just gonna say 7, 6, 5. You know, something low. For me, I think it's an 8 because kudos to LeBron. Some people might watch it and be like, oh, he made it too much on him. He made him focus too much on him. But you gotta give him credit. I remember when I worked at Walmart, and that was 2011, 2012, when rumors started circulating that Space Jam 2 was either in production or wanted to be in production because LeBron wanted it. I remember hearing articles a year or so later, like he was struggling to find people for Space Jam 2. I think that might have been 2016 or 17. I can't remember now. So I give him credit. I know maybe some of us didn't want a Space Jam 2 that watched the original, but you know, and I knew that it was not going to be well received because, let's face it, with the exception of Bill and Ted 3, movies that are 20, 30 years old, that are supposed to be, sequels 20, 30 years old after the original, were not going to go well. And I knew it. I was expecting it. But I liked what I got. I enjoyed what I got. And, you know, I won't spoil this much unless you look it up. But the ending does not hint a sequel. There is no mid-credit or post-credit. The ending does not hint a sequel. But it could possibly become a sequel that we don't have to wait 30 years for. I won't say how or why it could set up a sequel, even though it didn't make it. It's like, oh yeah, sequel confirmed. It's just you need to watch it and, you know, just judge for yourself personally. Did you really like it? Or are you only saying, or are you just gonna go on my words, or people are more professional, you know, reviewers, movie critics, or even, you know, better YouTubers that say that this movie was, you know, mildly decent or trash. So, but anyways, that's enough of that. That's enough of me. 15 minutes, actually, that's a lot longer than I should have gone. But I'm grateful. I got to see the Looney Tunes again on big screen. I've not seen them on a big screen like that in forever. I missed my chance with Back in Action. It was only Space, and I don't think I was old enough to go to the theaters when Space Jam came out. So the fact that my first time seeing the Looney Tunes in full screen, I'm grateful for it. So yes. So up to you, everyone that watches this. If you think it's not Space Jam New Legacy is not worth it, go ahead. If you want to take the chance, based on my words or some other people that actually did like it, and you go watch it, go ahead. All I can say is, good job, LeBron. I would say great job, but I only say great job when he was in the Clevelands. But anyways, I hope everyone enjoyed my review. I hope you guys didn't find it boring, awkward, or like, he's too soft on reviewing. But anyways, thank you everyone that watched. I'll try to upload this on as many as my accounts as I got. So, adios.